Ramble.
Thank you to MeUndies for sponsoring this episode.
Hey everybody, it is 6 p.m. We are recording this episode for a very special reason. I'm engaged! I'm so excited. I know. This is not how I told everyone, but I feel like we need to talk about it. We haven't been able to talk about it, and so we all planned bringing in some wine. Ariel has some sparkling water and a sippy cup on hand for herself. And just discussing our previous experiences in being engaged women. I was the last one, guys. I'm officially a tri-wife. Wow.
Yes!
Well, shall we have a toast to Maggie and Zach?
Oh, yeah. Toast. Cheers. Cheers, guys. Clink.
All right, tell us how it went down.
Oh, my goodness.
Play-by-play.
Play-by-play.
Start at the beginning.
So the element of surprise was very important to Zach. He completely tricked me. So he actually proposed the day after his birthday. So his birthday was on a Sunday. He proposed on a Monday evening. We had planned to go glamping Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And we checked into our little glamping Airstream. And he told me that he had made dinner plans at this restaurant. And it was a really long day. We checked in around 4. I remember just being very sweaty, and my nails weren't done, and I was very unprepared and caught off guard. And yeah, that's kind of how it happened. But so we had dinners plans set around 6 o'clock, I think. And he had told me, we're just going to go to the beach and just watch the sunset and, eat snacks, maybe have some wine. Zach never drinks wine. That should have been a red flag. And he brought, a little bottle.
And you think this whole thing is for his birthday, right?
100%, yes. I thought we were just doing something celebratory for him. But he had told me Nick, the other Try Guy producer, had recommended this restaurant at Paradise Cove. And so we get out of the parking lot, and Zach and I are really big foodie people, so I usually have my food picked out already. So he's lucky that I didn't go in there and text Nick and be like, what's my order? What do you recommend? But he had strategically made sure that Nick was on a camping trip and unable to answer the phone. But I didn't, but we were just in a rush all day. So we showed up there, we got out of the car, and I remember the beach walkway being very close to where we got off in the car. And I was like, let's go this way. And Zach was like, no, let's go over here. And as we're going down the very long way to the beach, he started playing a Spotify playlist. And I didn't really think anything of it because Zach has a playlist for almost everything. And I didn't really think anything of it. And there was a picnic spread set up. There was just pillows and blankets and a spread of grapes and strawberries and macarons. And I was like,
it was already set up for you?
Yeah, he had coordinated it with some company. And so it was already set up. And he had told me later on that the company had to confirm with him. And he was fighting with the company. He's like, please don't text me. My girlfriend will, if she's holding my phone or something, or if we're driving in the car and she's like, oh, somebody's texting you. But they had to do that. So I don't know how he pulled it off. And so we got to the sand, and I saw that, and I kept walking because I thought it belonged to somebody else. There was some houses there. So I was like, oh, maybe it belongs to some of the homeowners over there. And Zach was like, oh, this is for us. And I was like, what? I was so confused. I was like, oh, this is so sweet. I thought it was, oh, we're in quarantine. Let's do something nice. Even though it's my birthday, I'm going to do something nice for you. It just did not click.
It wasn't a giveaway?
It wasn't, because Zach and I had discussed, previous weeks very early on the pandemic when people's weddings were getting canceled. I was like, well, everyone getting married this year is probably going to get pushed to next year, and so on and so forth. So we're just going to take our time, no pressure at all. And so anytime we would bring it up, Zach would just be like, well, if we ever get married, and he'll just completely just push it off. So I was just very shocked. And so he thought that I would already get it, but I wasn't going to assume, even if it did not cross my mind, but even if it had, I don't think I would have said anything because I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, you're proposing, and him not be proposing. That would have been the worst thing.
Awkward.
Right.
And you guys have been talking about it for a little while. Like you knew that it was coming, but you didn't know when, and you guys were kind of waiting on it, and you knew that he wanted to surprise you.
Yeah, I honestly thought it was going to be another year or two. Yeah. I just didn't feel like any sense of urgency, and I feel like a lot of women I'm friends with and a lot of couples that I'm friends with, there's always the one person who's like, let's go, I'm ready. Like, why haven't they asked sooner? And I don't know. Yeah, I was completely caught off guard, especially since it was the day after his birthday. But he jokes that he has collected his gift.
I mean, happy birthday to Zach, seriously.
Happy birthday, Zach.
What a
birthday of a lifetime.
I know.
Yeah, seriously.
You'll never
But-
top this.
I know. So he had a friend photographer kind of like far away. And I think that as soon as I like sat down and like started eating bread, he like he thought that I was going to get it already. He was like, there's been something I've been meaning to ask you for a very long time. And I was like, wait. And I was like, wait, no. And I like started crying and I just kept saying no. And then I just kept saying, then I just started deflecting and asking questions. I was like, does my mom know? Do the Try Guys know? Who knows?
Oh my gosh.
But he
Just
had
let him ask the damn question.
I know.
No.
I just kept, that's all I remember is me saying no. And it felt like our first date all over again. Even though nobody was around us, no family, no friends was around us. It was just about us and like his friend who was a photographer. We were still so nervous. I like could not believe how, it felt like a first date all over again. But
Oh man.
I don't even remember him getting down on one knee. I don't. There's photos, but I don't remember it.
Maggie just blacked out.
I just blacked out. I was like, did I say yes? And I do remember at one point he like opened up the ring box and the ring was like all strewn about. And he was like, oh no. It wasn't like perfectly in the little cushion. He was like, oh no, why isn't it? So he's like, let me try again. He like closed it and he like opened it back up. So I guess I do remember him being on one knee, but I'm still in shock. I'll be like cooking in the kitchen. Like it's been a week now. And I was cooking in the kitchen last night and I'll just scream. I'll just be like, ah! I was so excited. It's like, we're going to be married. The only thing.
Yeah,
We're
show us
gonna
them
be
digits.
married.
Oh.
Oh, you crashed our
Hello.
Did you guys pick out the ring together or did he pick it out himself? What's the story there?
So on my birthday last year, he had wanted to know my ring size. And so he brought me into Tiffany, which was very awkward because obviously we weren't going to buy a wedding ring at Tiffany, but he just like wanted to know. So he actually bought the ring with, I think it was a recommendation from his sister was the company he got it from. He was emailing back and forth with a woman and he got the okay from Stephanie that it was, but he had picked it by himself. But he knew the only thing that I had told him was I wanted a very simple gold band because I just like to wear gold, very simple jewelry. And so like anything that would go with that, like just, and then if at any point, like I didn't want to wear an engagement ring and just my wedding band in the future, it would be able to, they'd both be able to be worn by themselves and still look really nice. They wouldn't like need to coexist together necessarily. So that was like the only thing. But that was back in November. So that was almost 8 or 9 months ago.
So does that mean he's been thinking about it this whole time? He's been planning and plotting?
I know. Becky and I had talked about this before and Becky was convinced. What did you say?
I had some timelines set up and my timeline kept getting pushed. And I also had a little like notes file in my phone of like rings that Maggie had shown me or like things that she wouldn't. Didn't. And I had like in all caps one time I wrote like no silver. So I was like, just in case he asked me. But I also assumed he would not ask me because he knows I would just like scream and call you on the phone. Yeah. I would not be able to keep the secret.
I could totally see Zach asking, and then you're like, oh, hold on just one sec. Let me pull it up on my phone.
Oh my God.
So I had thought, so I knew they went to go look at the ring, and I was like, okay, these people don't, they're not about the holidays. So I was like, okay, so it's not going to be Christmas. Although at first I thought it was going to be New York in December. And then I was like, no. We'll push it. And then I was like, well, he wouldn't do it on Valentine's Day. So then I said I think I ended up with like March was my original guess. Because then we kept like pushing it. And then I was like, well, it wouldn't be on his birthday. So it can't be that day. And then we like kept going.
I think Becky's been predicting the date though since 2018, right? I'm pretty sure.
I've been predicting this date. Maggie's like, in the relationship, there's always one person that wants you to get married. It's your best friend.
It's Becky.
That's the person. I've been like,
it's
not
so
in a pressure
true.
way, but just in a very excited way.
And I was very shocked to hear that he had been holding it for many months on end because it's very hard to hide things from me. I am very, I just go through it. I'm not looking for things, but I just like to clean. I like to throw things away. Okay, I'll admit, when I had COVID and I was by myself for 2 weeks, I scoured the house and I found nothing. Don't put that in the podcast.
Wow,
I'm not
good job,
crazy. I'm not crazy.
No, everyone goes looking once they know it's in the house.
I didn't even know he had bought it because he's just been so busy with work and he was really focused on Zydeco, Tico. I just didn't think of it. And like with the pandemic, I just didn't think that was on his mind. But he has had it since February. It is now August. So he had it for quite a bit. And Zachary doesn't keep secrets from me. So I'm shocked that he kept this very long secret for a very long time.
Zach does not keep secrets from anyone.
I know.
Zach is
he didn't
the
tell
king
a
of
soul
gossip.
that I know of.
Yeah.
He told
one.
Keith. Well, he told Keith that he was gonna get a ring or that he was like ring shopping.
Yeah. I was shocked to hear that he hadn't even told any of the boys. I was like, you have not told any of the boys? Wow, Zachary. I commend you. He had not told his mother. I think she had an idea. And he had not told my parents either.
Where did he hide it for all this time?
Do you really want to hear? He hid it on his bookshelf in plain sight.
What?
In plain
That's
sight.
hilarious.
He said that I'm sure he'll tell you, but he said that if I was looking for it and I found a box, I would think to myself, what's in this box? Open box. But Zach had it in his office next to a plant. And so if it's in plain sight, I think it's probably like a nail or something, a part of the furniture or something. So it was in a white box. The box was inside of a box which had the ring.
That's
He's
a
genius.
risky little game.
Dangerous.
Zachary Kornfeld.
That's what I said. I was like, what happened if I was cleaning? And I just thought it was, I guess I would look inside the box or something, but ballsy.
And Maggie, you collected the box when the UPS person dropped it off, right?
So Zach had the ring delivered and it was updating him every single, anytime it would move. So it's like, it's in Tennessee. It's in Florida. It's in Texas. Mm-hmm. And it would just tell him along the way. And it never told him when it was delivered. And he had strategically planned it for when I was at work. And I'm surprised it wasn't a signature required.
Right.
But
That
it
seems
wasn't.
insane.
And we share the same Amazon account. So if it says Zach or Maggie, regardless, whoever collects the mail will just open up the stuff and we'll take out all the things. But he had seen me come in from work and I was holding all our mail in a box and he was like, oh, that's mine, bye. And he ran into his office.
Another risky
That could
game.
have been so close.
I know. I would have just opened it up and been like, what's this? Oh
That made my
God.
heart race just hearing about it.
So how do you feel now?
I'm still, so we got back on Wednesday And on Tuesday, we like took the day to ourselves. Wednesday, we started telling our close family and friends, but it was so hard to keep it from everyone, and we wanted to do it. We didn't want people to find out via social media or find out from someone who had seen on social media and told one of our friends. It still really hasn't hit me. I don't wear my engagement ring at work just because I wear gloves and stuff and infection prevention and stuff. But I get sad that I don't get to, it still hasn't hit me.
Becky,
Yes.
talk to me about underwear.
I love a good pair of buttery, soft underoos.
I know. I need it. I need that softness on my tush.
I love MeUndies, probably one of my fave underoo brands, especially because Keith and I can match. MeUndies just wants everyone to feel comfy as heck with the freedom to express themselves.
They're serious about softness, aren't they? They apparently have scoured the world for the softest fabric known to man. And it all starts, you're going to love this, with sustainably sourced beechwood trees that magically turn to pulp, to yarn, to undies. Undies that feel like heaven on your skin, for comfort from the outside, literally, to in.
Keep your undie drawer stocked with the MeUndies membership, a subscription that sends you new pairs right to your door. Plus, you get site-wide savings and exclusive sales.
MeUndies has a great offer for our listeners. For any first-time purchasers, you get 15% off and free shipping. It is a no-brainer, especially because they have a 100% satisfaction guarantee.
And to get 15% off of your first order, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/sitwithus. That's MeUndies.com/sitwithus. We went over and we were eating dinner, and Maggie's like staring at me like dead in the face while I'm
yes.
I like loaded up my plate. And then we're sitting across from each other and she's just smiling at me. And I'm like, I took a bite and I was like, why is she looking at me like this? I was like, what did I do? Did I take like the wrong thing? And then she was sitting like this and I just screamed. I was like, ah! But it was a full like probably 4 minutes of her having it on her finger that I did not notice at all.
I know. So what had happened was, I think on Tuesday I had texted the Tri-Wives group then, and I was like, can we please get dinner? Like, I really miss you all. But it's so hard to rally up everyone, especially during these times. But Becky had texted me and was like, Keith feels left out if it's just going to be girls. Like, can he come too? And I was like, perfect. I didn't even have to like say anything. It's not going to be suspicious. Unfortunately, Ariel and Matt could not join us, but that's okay. So, but I was excited to tell at least one person in person. So Becky and Keith got to our house and we started eating dinner, and I ran into my room and I put on the ring and I just like came outside and I just wanted her. I didn't know what, I like had it flipped over first, and then I was just so excited that I flipped it, and then I was just staring at her and I was like, notice. But I remember you looking at me like, why is she watching me eat?
I was just like, she's really staring at me here. And then Keith and Zach were talking because they want to do like a little getaway in a couple weeks I have no idea, maybe a month, 2 months, whenever we can get away. But Zach was saying, well, and the last thing I heard him say was like, oh, we have a lot to celebrate. Keith was like, I mean, I guess. Like we were like, what do we have to celebrate? We're like in the middle of a pandemic. Everything's terrible. What are you talking about? And then immediately I know. And then I just immediately screamed.
Her reaction was so good. And then
so exciting.
I was able to tell Rachel and Ariel over FaceTime because it's harder to see you guys. But I have screenshots of Rachel screaming. And then Ned totally knew when we were demanding to see Ariel and Wes. He's like, why is Maggie and Zach acting so weird?
He's like, you guys have news. He knew.
Oh, yeah, play Rachel's reaction. It's so good. Hold on. I don't think so.
Zoom in.
It's so cute.
Oh, there you go.
And the babies.
It's like a full Miss America moment.
I'm so excited. The only like downside, though, rings are basically adult friendship bracelets, right? Why doesn't Zach get one at the same time? He has to wait so long because who knows when we're going to get married.
Yeah.
You know.
You could get him like a t-shirt.
I can get him a t-shirt
That's what Keith wanted. He wanted a shirt.
that said what?
A shirt that says I'm engaged.
Yeah,
I'm
he's like, it's not
engaged.
fair that everyone knows you're engaged. Nobody, because I like got free drinks like the day after, a couple days after, just like at a bar. And he's like,
That's cute.
What, he offered to buy me drinks? I think he's in the same boat as Zach.
Keith is like the ultimate FOMO. That's so funny.
We'll make Zach a ring, maybe with like some twine.
I think you can get him a
Yeah,
ring.
why?
I have friends who have done that.
Huh.
I think you can do whatever you want. You take the traditions that you like and keep them, and you make up new ones if you don't like them.
That's so
Get
true.
Zach an engagement ring. If he wants one, go for it.
Yeah.
So is
That
he
would
going to
be
wear
so
two
fun.
later on?
No, he'd get like a pinky ring. That's very on brand for him.
Oh my God.
And Zach's fingers are so like long and skinny. So it would be this teeny tiny little thing.
Mags, this is the best.
I
We
know.
got babies, we got weddings and marriages. It's just the best.
I know. It's so many things are happening. If you would have told me a year ago that I was going to get engaged in the middle of a pandemic, I think I would have been really sad, but I'm honestly so happy. I mean, it is sad that I won't be able to do like the engagement party and all that stuff, but I think just the happiness between Zach and I, it's more than enough. Like, I don't need all that right now. I think there's a different perspective in getting engaged now versus having had wedding plans for now and having to had canceled and not getting returns on deposits and things.
And you can have an engagement party whenever you want. You can
That's
you can
true.
have a virtual
Yeah.
engagement party, or you can have an engagement party in a year. Or
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many options. Now
For sure.
now it's actually if you think of it, this could be the best time to be engaged, because now you guys get to just enjoy being engaged.
That's totally how I
you know,
feel.
6 months from now, a year from now, who knows when, we'll be able to have parties again. But just do it then.
I wouldn't be surprised if we just go to a courthouse and like, I don't know.
Zach's in the other room screaming, no.
I know he's a little party boy. He wants to throw a party for everyone, but it's good.
The thing I've told my friends who have postponed their weddings this year once and then again is that by the time they do throw a wedding and we all have the ability to get together safely, it will not only be a celebration of them, but like of the community in a totally different way,
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we've been deprived of that. So it will be extra joyous and extra celebratory.
The upside of it is usually when you get engaged, people are like, take your time, relax, enjoy it. But then they immediately ask you, so do you have a date? Do you know when you're going to do this? Do you know when you're going to do that? But getting engaged in the middle of a pandemic, no one's going to follow up with that question. They're just going
That's
to be like,
true.
enjoy this time, have fun.
We did FaceTime my mom immediately after it happened. And I remember her just looking at Zach and was like, so when's the wedding? And Zach was
The plan.
Zach was Magali. This happened 2 minutes ago. We have no idea. It was so funny. But I guess that's just always
She
an
just said
automatic
yes.
response.
Yeah.
It's just
But
what you ask, what people ask.
Becky, how quickly after you guys got engaged did you set a date?
I have no idea. Well, we were getting married in a different state. So we basically planned all of our trips to like look at venues, buy a dress, all that stuff around other people's weddings in Chicago so that we could like lump everything together. Probably like we were engaged. I think we were engaged over a year before we got married.
Yeah. When did you
we
get
did
engaged
a
and when
-1
did you get married?
anniversary. Got engaged on Easter. I don't know what date Easter is.
I think it
April
was
something.
isn't it it
Don't
changes?
celebrate
It's on a
Easter.
Sunday in
like
April.
the third Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was definitely a Sunday. And then we got married in September. Yeah, it was September 2 years later, I think. No,
2.
no, just 1 year. Just one.
A year and a half.
Like a year and a bit.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you guys. I'm like, when was it? Yeah. So you guys have all the ding dang time in the world
I
to plan
know.
your
Time.
wedding.
Ned and I were engaged for 2.5 years before we got married.
Oh, that's a long engagement.
How
that's
long
a long
between
one.
dating and engaged, Ariel?
Well, that was actually much shorter, which is probably why we were engaged for so long. We met in December and moved in April and got engaged in September. So we had not even known each other
Wow.
a year. Yeah. But then we waited, so that was 2010. Then we waited 2 years to get married.
When you know, you know.
Although our parents were not on board with that quite yet, with the you know. So they were like, let's, why don't you guys wait a little while? Why don't you just see how this pans out? We were pretty young. I mean, Ned was pretty young. Let's be honest. I'm 2 years older than he is. So I was like, come on, guys. I got a plan here. We milked it. We totally milked it. We took all the trips. And, you know, when they say, like, do you have any notes for XYZ? We're like, we just got engaged. And people will always send you like put a like champagne in your room or this and that.
Yeah.
So that is my advice to you right now, Maggie, is milk it. Enjoy it.
How do I milk it in
Yeah.
the middle of a pandemic? Should I just like call
I
out?
know.
Like put it in the notes in DoorDash, you know? I'm
Yeah, put it in your
engaged.
Postmates.
I'm engaged.
Engagement celebration.
See what I get?
They'll throw in a free dessert or something.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'll always make sure that they have your dietary restrictions correct too. Because they'll be like,
Oh, yeah,
don't
'cause
mess this up. We just
Don't
got
get it wrong.
engaged.
Just engaged, and I'm also lactose intolerant. Thank you so much.
No dairy. Just
And
got
fuck red peppers.
betrothed.
Right.
How did all the other boys propose?
Ned's proposal was pretty ad hoc, actually. It was completely unplanned until the day of. There was no ring. And it was in a parking lot. What?
Where?
Yeah. Okay, so the full story is that like Ned, he was working at this job that he didn't love. He was at it was like one of his first chemistry jobs in Chicago, and I think it was the one where he was measuring soap suds all day. So he would there was this machine that like mixed up a bunch of soap, and then he would measure the suds, and then he would wait an hour, and he would measure the suds, and then he would wait an hour, and he would measure the suds. And it was just, it was just mindless work. And and he didn't love it. But he would bike to work, and like 2 weeks before, he had gotten into a big bike accident on his way to the train and gashed his chin open. And so we had gone to the emergency room, and you know, this was like the first time that we had gone to the emergency room together.
First
A milestone.
The first of many. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Ned is always going to the emergency room. And so is Wes, as it turns out. So we had gone to the emergency room, and I think that he just had a bout, just sort of like a feeling of being very like mortal, you know, and so this one morning he went to work, and he was doing his, you know, kind of mindless work, and sort of became, in his tellings, became overwhelmed with like feelings, and then decided to take the rest of the day off from work and went home, got a haircut, put on a suit, called his mom, and wrote a note. It was a Wednesday, and at that time we had standing Wednesday date nights. And so he, and we shared one car. We shared my car, and so he would take my car to work, and then he would come and pick me up. So he showed up a little bit early to work, or to my work, to pick me up, and texted me, and he said, you know, I'm outside whenever you're ready. And I was like, oh, okay, great. Well, you're a little bit early. I'll be out in like 15 minutes. And so he's literally twiddling his thumbs outside, standing in a suit, sweating, and like on the brink of tears.
Oh my
And I'm just going about my work, like trying to finish, you know, I worked at an art warehouse at the time. And so, you know, we were on the east side of Chicago, big, you know, just big warehouses everywhere. And we had a big parking lot. and the West Side. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about it in terms of L.A. It was the West Side of Chicago.
Ariel, the lake is to the east.
I know. It's
like a big Chicago
it was the West
phrase.
Side. It was the West Side. And so when I finally came outside, I mean, Ned tells it like I made him wait for hours. And so I finally came outside and I was like, why are you all dressed up? We're going on a date tonight, right? Like, but I'm not dressed. And I was really confused. I was like, I don't understand why you're so dressed up. And so he sort of like stuttered his words a little bit. And he was like, I guess I went home and took a shower. I mean, Ariel, I really care about you. And I was like, yeah, me too, honey. And then he didn't, I don't remember him getting down on one knee, but he sort of handed me a note and was like, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And I was like, yeah, me too. Yeah, great. Let's go, and then I think at one point he was like, will you marry me? And I was like, are you serious? I said that instead of being like, oh my God, yes. I said, are you serious? Because I truly didn't think that he was serious. I thought he was doing a bit or something. And then he like couldn't hold back the tears anymore. And said, yes, I'm serious. And then I think he got down on one knee and I said, yes, I will. Yes. And the next day, and then we went out on our date and it was all very exciting. We called my mom and my mom said, I knew it. And then the next day I get into work. And so our warehouse had 2 stories. The bottom part was the art storage and the top part was where all the conservators worked. And all the conservators apparently had been watching from the upstairs window. Did the whole thing go down in the parking lot? They had seen him standing out there and they thought maybe he was somebody loitering, but he was like clearly in a suit. And so they were like, oh, that's Ariel's boyfriend. And then when the whole situation started, I think that one of the conservators was like, everybody get over here. Ariel's getting engaged. Wow. So it was this huge thing and everybody knew, of course. I didn't have to tell anybody because they already all knew.
They saw him get down on one knee and they knew what was happening.
Exactly.
Did you get any good pictures from up there?
No, nobody was taking pictures. Nobody thought about it.
Come on.
I just have the picture in my head of like Ned with a really short haircut because he had just gotten a haircut that day.
A fresh fade.
And apparently he walked into a ring store and then he walked right back out again because he was like, it's way too much pressure. I just, we'll get it together.
Did you help pick out the ring later?
Yeah. We then, like the next weekend, we went into a ring store and we were like, oh, how about this one? How about this one? So we picked out the ring together. I picked out my own ring.
That's awesome.
Ned just walked by.
He heard the love coming out.
His ears were burning.
His wedding ring was burning.
Because that's the way marriage works, Maggie. I hope that you realize that now. Is that when you talk about each other, your rings burn.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like Lord of the Rings.
Like Lord of the Rings.
So the note that he wrote, was it everything that he was going to say to you?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Zach had written on a notepad and he's like, I forgot everything I was going to say. I love you so much. Will you marry me? I was like, what?
Also, Maggie, you mentioned a photographer friend. We're going to need to see those photos.
Yeah.
For sure. She sent Zach a sneak peek just so he wasn't burning inside knowing what they would look like. But she's still getting some things together. Honestly, I'm really nervous on how they're going to turn out because I think half of her camera roll was me scarfing down bread. There was 4 loaves of little bread and I was so nervous. I didn't know what to do. I am not used to getting photographed. It was just a very emotional moment and I didn't know what to do. I was like, I'm just going to eat bread. So I ate my 2 servings of bread and 1 Zach's servings of bread. And that was my dinner.
I would love to see you eating bread.
Zach said he had pictures, and I was like, oh, I want to see. And he goes to hand me his phone, and I was like, on the TV.
Becky's so funny.
See the big.
She demanded a
screen.
The fact that you demand
slideshow.
Becky, do you have pictures of your engagement?
No, there was no photographer, thankfully, because I wasn't wearing pants.
Oh, what?
Did you have a naked engagement?
No, I wasn't naked. We had been, so probably the polar opposite of Ariel and Ned. We had been dating 6 years probably at that point. So quite a long time. So I would say maybe one of us was a little more pushy about leaving a Pinterest board open on the other one's computer of ring options. You know, I wanted to manifest it. And then Keith was like, I don't remember when he asked me like if I had any like ideas about getting engaged. And I was like, no, I don't care. I just want to make sure like my nails are done and I'm not wearing like sweatpants, you know? And so his like compromise to like not wearing sweatpants was wearing no pants. Because it was Easter. And while we are like wildly not religious, I do love candy. So Keith was like, let's do an Easter egg hunt. And I was like, okay, and I'll make Easter baskets. And I made like Easter baskets like full of candy. And he's like, okay, go in the room or go in your room or go in our room.
Go in your room.
And I'll hide all the eggs. And I was like, okay, sure. So I come out and I find an egg and there's a little note in it and it tells me where the like treat is. So like he was like, I only remember there was one about like cooking or things getting hot and he put hot tamales in the oven. So I was like digging in that one. And then I found another one that had like a little cartoon on it, I think. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, this is sweet. And it was something from like when we first started dating. I was like, what a cute idea. Like kind of romantic, but okay. And then that's when it started. I was like, okay.
You spent a lot of thought into this.
And so I'm looking and I cannot find the last egg to save my life. And it was because Keith had hidden it in his backpack so that I wouldn't find it till the end because I'm very good at games. If you saw Hide the Lemon, I always win Hide the Lemon. And then he like moved it out of his bag or said he was going to help me look or something like that. And the last clue was that, you can all see where we got engaged. So this media council wasn't here. It was a different media council. And he had put the ring in the back and it was in this little heart box. So when I was down there, we were both on our knees, like grabbing it. And then it was inside the little egg inside of like a little heart box.
And just to confirm, you did the entire egg hunt without pants on.
Yes. So before Maggie and I were super close, I did not wear pajamas. I would wear.
Oh my gosh, she's a pajama girl now.
I know. I would wear the shirt that Keith wore during the day to bed. Like and then no pants. And that was like, I never have to buy pajamas. Yahtzee. So
Yahtzee.
I was like, cool. And then I met Maggie and she was like, you don't own pajamas? And then I started my collection because she loves jammies.
Gotta wear jammies.
Yeah, so I did the whole Easter egg hunt, no pants. I think Keith put on shorts. I think he had shorts and a shirt on.
He was not in boxers.
No, he was not in his boxers. He doesn't walk around. We have these big windows in front. That's why there's no big light set up here. It's just a giant window. But yeah, he doesn't like to walk around in his underoos because he doesn't want a neighbor to see him. But yeah, right there.
But you had no qualms about walking around in your undies.
No. I always do it. I'm like when I like our bathroom's right there, I'll walk from the bathroom buck ass naked into the other room. This window's fully open.
You're like what's up, neighbors?
I know. I just think someone would have to like really be looking because our apartment faces the pool. It's not like it faces the streets. You'd really have to and there's some shrubbery. You'd really have to be looking, but.
So when you reached for the box and turned around, you were on your knees and Keith was on his knees as well.
Yeah, so he had kind of like scooted over with me to the last treat because it was like getting more apparent that this was, because we had talked about it before, and he had the ring the prior Christmas because we were seeing both of our families. So he had planned on doing it when we were home, but my grandpa was sick, and he was like, this would be an awful time. And he was correct. It would have been a horrible time to do it. So he had it, and I kept bugging him, being like, I don't know, man. I don't believe you. I don't think you actually have a ring. I think you're full of baloney. And he's like, it's in the house. And I was like,
it's in the house, but I haven't proposed.
It's here somewhere.
he did hide it very well, though, because I do, a lot of the cooking and cleaning. And he's like, she'll find it. So we put it in. If you watch the Try DIY, he put it in what we called Keith's room, which is basically like a junk room. And he hid it like inside of, I don't know, some camera case or something. He was like, she never goes in this room. And even if she did, she would never like dig through all this literal garbage to find anything.
I can't believe these boys held on to these rings for so long. The willpower is impressive. I get like a new bottle of wine. I'm like, let's open it.
Oh my God, I know. Every birthday, I try and give Keith his present the night before.
Yeah.
Christmas. Well, my family did Christmas the day before. So I was always like, no, you should give presents before the holiday so you can enjoy each other's time and enjoy your presents before.
I'm with you too. I open up my Christmas presents on the 24th.
Wait, what? What is that? What?
You don't
I
do
need
that?
presents before the presents.
Yeah.
We get one on New Year's Eve.
We get one.
But
I think we get the majority.
oh,
of them.
sorry, Christmas Eve.
Yeah, the majority of them in Latin cultures usually is Christmas Eve is the big holiday, and then you'll open the ones from Santa on Christmas Day. What about you, Rachel? Prepare yourselves, everyone. This is going to be the cutest shit you've ever heard.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. This is why I'm so impressed. My husband, Justin Watson, but I call him Watts, held onto the ring for about 30 hours before he proposed. 30 hours. It was in his pocket the entire time. And it was like burning.
He's like, I got to do it.
But we were in Ojai, a trip I had planned. So much like Maggie, I had planned the trip to Ojai, which we love, and I wasn't like on the lookout for it. Although I was in life, I had snooped around, I had looked around.
I'm glad I'm not the only psychopath, guys, because I'm really embarrassed.
I had peeked in drawers, looked under underwear. I was like aware,
always patting down the pockets. You're like,
But you got the ring on a Friday morning. We went to Ojai on Saturday morning, and we went on a hike. And on the hike, I could like feel this tension. And what I thought, and maybe we'll have to cut this out because he'll kill me, but I thought he wanted to like have sex on the hiking trail. I was like, I could feel how intense the emotion was. I was like, this kid is out of his mind. We're not doing that. No.
You were like, no, Watts, no.
And I was bending down into our backpack. We had stopped under this tall palm tree, the only tall palm tree on the hike. The rest of the hike is tangerine trees. And I was bending down, getting a water bowl for our dog, Clementine, out of the backpack. And when I turned around, he was on one knee. And I think the only thing I said was, holy shit. Very surprised.
And what did he say? Was he like, Rachel, you mean everything to me? Or did he just open up the ring and he was like,
well, we have this funny nicknames for one another. I worked for this director for a long time who only referred to me as Little Bunny. I can't tell you why. She was a kooky lady, and I love her dearly. But so he also calls me Little Bunny. We're gonna have to cut this out. He's gonna kill me. But he was I know you're a free range little bunny, and I would never try to like keep you to myself, but I would love to spend my life trying to do so.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
The rest of the hike completely drunk and full of adrenaline, and got free champagne at somewhere in Ojai, the whole 9 yards.
And we all know you probably did end up having sex on the hike.
Right?
Because
later,
you just got engaged.
I love Ojai. We didn't tell anyone for a long time because this was 2 days before Trump was elected. And so it was just much like, I mean, it's not the same as a pandemic, obviously, but much like the pandemic, we were kind of like, how do we deal? Like, it's a weird time to like call and text people with good news.
Right.
So it was like a
Right.
very iffy time in life for a little bit.
Yeah.
But then we ran off to a courthouse and got married really quickly. And then we had a big wedding in Ojai. So if you do the courthouse and the big wedding, Maggie, I'm in full support. I loved it.
Yeah, we're open to it because, I mean, the pandemic does not care about people getting married. You know, it's
It
not
doesn't.
it's not going anywhere. So we're just going to have to adapt. So we're open to the courthouse thing, but I know Zach would
I
like
volunteer to be your flower girl.
You can be there. It's going to be me and Zach, Bowie, and whoever signs the document with us. So
I mean,
I'm taking
if you need
applications
Flower
now.
girls. I have flower girls
Yes.
for you.
flower girls, yes. And Wes will be my ring bearer, and
Yes, of
Alfred
course.
we'll find a thing for Alfred. Alfred will do something.
Becky could just carry Alfred in a basket the whole time.
Alfred's just freaking out the whole time. He's like, why am I here?
Zach, Maggie, are you my new mom and dad?
I mean, okay, the pandemic might not be wedding friendly, but it's perfectly wedding dress shopping friendly. Can we start
Is it though? Can you-
scouring
Yeah.
the internet?
Well, you just do the ordering. You order it and then you try it on at home, and then if you don't like it, you send it back. You know,
Yeah.
it's like at home
Yeah.
dress shopping. You could Zoom us all in.
Yeah, I'd be like,
Ooh,
guys,
Maggie, I
anything?
do have one piece of advice, and not advice.
Oh, yeah, tell
just
me. You
Something
guys
I
have
think
to-
every future bride should know.
Okay.
The wedding dress industry is meant to make you feel like a piece of shit. The sizing is 2 to 3 times larger than your dress size. So if you're like a
Why?
6, your wedding dress is like a 10 or a 12.
Is that why everyone has the compulsion to like work out like crazy just so they look good on their wedding because they found out that their dress size is 3 to 5 size bigger, like you said?
I think it's more because once you start altering it, there's a certain point where it's like, this is it. You can't lose or gain any because this is it. You're
And
getting
you will
sewn
want
into this.
alterations. Wedding dresses never fit off the rack. They just don't.
No, they're not. They're meant to be altered. Like a suit.
Yeah.
A suit doesn't fit off the rack either. Oh, this is a whole nother podcast, but we got to talk about how
All the
Ariel and Becky
tips.
found their wedding dresses.
I'm so excited.
We're excited too to live vicariously through
I
and
know.
with you.
Yes. I woke up the other morning and was like, they're getting married.
This is the highlight of Becky's like year.
This is like the best. You having another baby and Maggie getting married. I'm like, quarantine is great. Everything's coming up. Try, guys. Yay. And then there's also like sad things. So focusing on something so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been a good reminder of love.
You gotta look at the bright side. Have you had? Does your face hurt from smiling so much?
Oh my gosh, so much. And I'm always yelling, Beyonce, across the house. Beyonce, where are you? Or I'll call him and be like,
Are you
hi,
passing
Beyonce.
things like this?
Or I'll like put my hand on my head and be like, I'm casual.
Oh, so this is so casual.
I'm
It's
casual.
a relaxed look.
I told him, I was like,
gonna
I'm going to
fight
give
over
this
it.
to my grandkid. Or I said my daughter or my son. Ooh, it's going to get passed down. And he was like, so you're going to take it off your finger and give it to, I was like, no, granddaughter. Or maybe, I don't know.
Granddaughter.
We haven't gotten there yet. That's a long time from now, but I would like to pass it on and on.
My
Becky,
grandkids.
Rachel, just quick check. Are you wearing your engagement ring in quarantine? Do you guys wear just your band, or are you wearing your ring?
I'm wearing my band because my ring's busted.
What happened?
Not busted, but well, it's vintage, and unbeknownst to us, that when you have a vintage ring, it just needs maintenance like every year or every 2 years. So one of the little prongs that's holding the main diamond down is loose, so I can hear it kind of like move when I move my finger, which this happened last year. So we just have to take it in somewhere, and I'm like, well, why am I taking it in right now? I'll wait.
Because my ring, it kind of sticks up a lot. And so,
Not baby
you know, like
friendly.
when we're like potty training and stuff. It just,
yeah.
there's a lot of, things that get on your hands. And
Did you find that your ring didn't fit when you guys were pregnant?
yeah. I mean, my wedding band fits just because it's I don't know. It's not it's got like a rounded edge. And so I can kind of take it on and off. But the engagement ring itself is like just as small, but a little bit harder to get on and off. And so I just leave it in my jewelry box.
Yeah.
I put it on for special occasions.
Yeah.
Date night in your living room during quarantine.
Exactly. It'll be like once a
sparkles.
month. I'll be like, oh, I'm putting on my ring. Ooh. What about you, Rachel?
I'm wearing mine now, but I had to take mine off really early in pregnancy, being pregnant with twins. And then I was, my fingers, so I took it off at like 5 months in. And then my fingers were still swollen like a month after I had the baby. So I've gotten out of the habit. But Watson and I like to say, do you want to be married today? Oh yeah, I want to be married today. And then we'll put it on.
We do the
So
same
funny.
thing. If I forget mine, I'll go, I'm single.
Yeah, me too.
Or I joke with Keith that I'm his mistress. I'm like, oh, we're going to go get pickup, and I don't have my ring on. I must be a mistress.
30, flirty, and thriving.
Scandalous.
I got
Okay.
actually bit by a mosquito the day after Zach proposed, and my finger blew up like a balloon, so I couldn't wear my engagement ring for a little bit. It was so
Like
sad.
the next day.
Yeah,
It was
outside-
attracted to the bling. It was like, oh, shiny.
Yeah,
Shiny, I want it.
It blew. I'm like allergic to mosquitoes, so like my inflammatory response is like insane. My finger was like this big, and it was hard to like bend my fingers.
Yeah, and it was like black and blue too. It was like discolored.
Yeah, I showed it to one of the urgent care doctors at my work, and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I think that's just." I went to Thailand one year, and I got bit by like numerous mosquitoes, so I think it like increased my response to them. I don't think I need to hold an EpiPen, but just like mosquito bites on me versus the average human get really, really big and red.
I texted
We're
her
back to
and was
wearing
like,
it.
Maggie. I was like, Maggie, circle it so that you can see like how much it swells, because I'm allergic to bees, and that's what I do if I get stung. And Keith saw me text that, and he was like, you don't think a nurse knows how to monitor a bug bite?
Ouch.
And I was like, oops.
She's
I
a
forget
friend. You're being a supportive
I
friend.
forget it.
So Mags, does everything feel different between being a girlfriend and a fiance?
I mean, essentially, nothing has changed, but also everything has changed. You know? We're very on cloud 9 right now. We're just super like giggly and like in a honeymoon phase again. Yeah.
Have you gotten to say to a stranger, oh, my fiance or my fiance's picking it up? Or like, have you been able to casually throw a fiance into conversation?
I kind of feel pretentious saying that, but I like did it once. I was like, oh, my boyfriend, I mean, my fiance. And I was like, is that, I don't know if I'm ever going to get used to saying it. Does it ever get easier, guys?
It's
Yeah,
such
you
a short
do.
period of time, in theory, that you should just
Yeah.
go for it. He'll be
I
your
should
husband
say-
forever.
I know.
He'll only be your fiance for a little bit.
That's the thing. That's the thing about being engaged is it's like it's this time of celebration. You know, you're about to be married. And so the word fiance, that's why it feels so strange, is because, you know, when you tell someone, you actually are telling them that you are celebrating something.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. It would be like walking up to, you know, like getting takeout and being like, it's my birthday.
I mean, I think it's a lot like being pregnant as just an analogy, because you're on the precipice of great change.
It's
I'm
so
so
exciting. It's so happy.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. I'm so excited to share this news with everyone. Please like and subscribe this podcast and comment down below what we can talk about that you would find interesting. Please email our personal podcast email. You can sit with us pod@gmail.com.
Oh, Maggie, we're so excited for you.
Yeah.